Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, how to while away a few hours before the big World Cup semi-final kicks off between England and Argentina. The way to do it is by doing some Sudoku for me, but obviously my video will be coming out after that game, so you can't achieve that. Now, I am going to wish a very happy birthday to Alex today. And I know it's Alex's birthday because we got an email in saying it's my best friend's birthday tomorrow, and I'd appreciate if you could give her a shout out. Her name's Alex. I cannot even count the amount of times I've heard the intros to your videos from her room after she forgot to turn the TV down. She's now fully indoctrinated me into doing puzzles every day when I have a free moment. Well, that's good news. So maybe it was deliberate she was leaving the TV up. This may be the last event we get to celebrate together for a while because we're both moving to different places, so I'd like to make it a good one. Wow. Well, thank you, Nico, for that, and happy birthday to Alex. Always good to hear an indoctrination into puzzles story. That's absolutely perfect. And I hope Alex gets loads and loads of chocolate cake. So that's going on there. Obviously, on Patreon, we've got the Sudoku Hunt by Sandra, Nala, and Panthera called Detective Pets, and you can help turn detective there as well. And you can look at the connections and the gridogram videos and the crossword videos, including the listener by Sabre recently. And later in the week, we will have a New Times Monthly Club special, I believe. Loads going on Patreon. Loads, of course, on the channel, where on Monday we were streaming from the Blueprints house, and it was fantastic. It was a really interesting finish to the video, and general finish, maybe. And that was brilliant. We had a great time there. I'm not sure quite when we'll next be streaming or what we'll be streaming, but I'm sure we will be doing it again. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, on the main channel, we have reached 700,000 subscribers, and it's an extraordinary, bizarre, remarkable, and astonishing number. And thank you very much for your part in it. We really are grateful. Do subscribe if you haven't already. 700,000 people can't all be wrong, can they? And of course, we do Minute Cryptic and Wordle in a Minute every day, 2 Sudoku videos a day, and whatever sort of shout outs we can manage for people. And it's great fun. And of course, we've got some apps you can check. Well, Sandwich Sudoku seems relevant today. So that was our first one. Do check that out. And of course, Classic Sudoku 2 and the Worms. And there's a bit of merch around as well if you're interested in that. So check it all. In the links in the description field, we've even renewed the snail mail address for a year or two, which comes at the cost of some scam emails, very annoyingly. Anyway, I don't know why, but we will be. Yes, actually, we did receive a couple of things through the snail mail address. I haven't got them with me here, but there were the books I was mentioning in a recent video by someone in Norway, which was amazing. There was what I believe is a sort of word search based puzzle. I may show that to you at some point when I'm back on my main PC. And there was also a wedding invitation. Unfortunately, arrived in our mail a month after it had gone. So congratulations to John and Margaret. And it was never likely we were going to get to Virginia, but well done on your marriage anyway. Again, maybe I will have the ability to show you that in more detail later. Now, let's have a look at this puzzle, which I don't think promises to be easy. It's called Jewel Deli by Blobz. Not absolutely sure if Blobz's featured before, possibly not. And I'm going to read the rules and see if you understand them with me. They're not long, but they're unusual. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. A value outside the row or column indicates the sum of the digits in that row or column between either 1 and 9 or 4 and 6. So I guess for this first row, if 1 was there and 9 was there, these digits in between would either add up to 26 or 28. And the same would be true if that was 4 and that was 6. I mean, somehow we must make this first row work so that 28 is sandwiched either between 1 and 9 or 4 and 6, and 26 either between 1 and 9 or 4 and 6. And then there are other rows where they're not both sides. So the 24 there will either be between the 1 and 9 or the 4 and 6, or both, who knows. And that's almost it. There are these little grey cells, and a digit in a min or max cell is either smaller, and that's in this case because of the way the arrows point, than all of the cells it's orthogonally touching. And the digit in the other type of cell, the max cell or a fortress cell, is larger than the digits it's orthogonally touching. So the rules are relatively simple. I think the concept is rather inherently difficult, but let's get cracking. I am very familiar with 1 and 9 sandwich Sudoku, if you like, where 1 and 9 are what we call the crusts and the sandwich is in between them. Now, what is going on when you can have 4 and 6? Well, 4 and 6 add up to 10. So even for 4 and 6, the absolute maximum sandwiched sum is 45, the secret, the sum of every row, column and box in a Sudoku, minus the total of the crusts, which is 10. And put another way, we could deduct any of these clues from 35, and that will tell us the sum of the outies in that row or column for either 4 and 6 as crusts or 1 and 9. So I think we want to major on the big numbers here. Like this 0 and 7 column, that's not useful. Yes, it tells us that 4 and 6 or 1 and 9 are next to each other to generate the 0. And it tells us that in the other case, they're surrounding either a 7 or digits that sum to 7. But I don't think that's wildly helpful because they could appear anywhere in the row. I think maybe this row at the top is more helpful if we can work out how it works. I think there's got to be overlap. Now, how am I going to try and describe it? Okay, this is a situation in which there is overlap. So I'm using red as one type of crust, pink as the other, and green as cells that aren't crusts. So pink could be 4 and 6, red could be 1 and 9. And this is what I'm calling a situation in which there would be overlap, because one of the pink crusts would be in the red sandwich, and one of the red crusts would be in the pink sandwich. And the sandwiches, basically, that would be one sandwich, and that would be the other. They would be overlapping. So that's my brain's concept of overlap. And I think, given the 26 and the 28 number, that must happen. So let's think of it in terms of outies. For one of these types of... Actually, that depiction that I just did, that is very useful. Can I prove that there is overlap? Yes, I can, because otherwise, if there wasn't overlap, then either there'd have to be successive. So in this column, for instance, you might have red, a sum of 7, and green, and then double pink further down. That's what I would call successive crusts. I'm not saying that must apply in this column, but it's certainly possible. Or you could have contained crusts. So that, well, certainly in this row, I think there's a fair chance of that. You might have pink there together, generating the 0. And that sum of 10 would be part of the sandwich summing to 23. So that would be a sort of contained sandwich. But I think you can't have a contained sandwich in this row because, well, obviously you can't. because if you had a sandwich of 26 plus the crusts outside it, that's 36. You couldn't include that in the next sandwich. I mean, there's certainly no way this can be a contained sandwich, and it can't be a successive sandwich because there just isn't scope for that in the sum of 45 in the row. So it's definitely an overlap, something like what I've depicted. Now, that means that for each of these sums, 26 or 28, sandwich sums, for each of those clues, there will be a concept of the row in which there are outies adding up in one case to 7, which is 35 minus 28, and in the other case to 9, which is 35 minus 26. And those outies will include a crust from the other type of sandwich. So the outies for the red sandwich here are double green and a pink, and the outies for my putative pink sandwich are a green and a red. So the outies are going to sum to 9 in one case and 7 in the other. Now, that's quite limiting. The case in which the outies add up to 7, they couldn't contain either a 1 as the sound. Well, that's wrong. They couldn't contain a 9 as the outie digit, because the outies only add up to 7. They couldn't contain a 6 as the outies digit, or the other outie digit would be a 1, but that would be a crust in that version of the row. So for the 28, the outies are going to include either 4 and then a 3, it would have to be, or a 1 and, well, what? Adding up to 6. There is no possibility. It can't be a single 6 because that would be a crust. It can't be 4-3 because that will 4-2 because that would involve a crust. It can't be 1-5 because we've already used 1. Let me try and explain this graphically. So what I'm trying to imagine is a 28 row, the 28 clue, and I've just determined that it can't include 9 or 6 as the outie that gets caught in its outies. It's either got to be 4 or 1. And I'm now saying that it can't be 1. So imagine the crusts being there and there for 28. And the outies being here. Now there could be 2 or 3 outies. There couldn't be 1 because one of them has to be a crust for the other sandwich. And what I'm speculating about is whether 1 could be the crust from the other sandwich that is an outie. And then other digits would have to add to 6. Well, it can't be 3 digits. They would be 1, 2, 3 and repeat the 1. It can't be 1, 5 because that would repeat the 1. If it was 2, 4, that would be using one of the 6, 4 crusts, which would be in operation here because 1's an outie. And it can't be a single 6 because that would be in operation here. So for the 28 sandwich, 4 is an outie. Now, I don't know how to depict this. I'm just going to sort of tinily put 4 in a cell there. Now, that means the other outie for that sandwich is 3. We can't use 1 again, or we're using another crusty type digit. So at one end of this row, there is a 4-3 pair. And then no. The 4 and 3 could be at each end of the row. Yeah, bother. But that's really interesting. So at one end of the row, there's either a 4-3 pair or there's a 4 at one end and a 3 at the other. And if it's 4-3 at one end, then you're going to get crusts in these positions here and here for the 28. They would be 1 and 9. So from the other clue, we are definitely using 6 and 4 as the crusts. For the 26 clue, and the outies are going to add up to 9, and they can't use 6 or 4. They must use either 1 or 9 because of the overlap. But I think that could be done either way. They could be 6 and 4 using a 9. How would it work? Oh, right. 3 can't be on one end of this. No, I don't know. Hang on. Oh, it could be. It could be. I'm getting mighty confused now. So the 28 sandwich is for the 1-9 crust clue, and the outies are 4 and 3. The 26 sandwich is for the 4 and 6 crust clue, and the outies sum to 9. They could be a single 9, or they could include a 1 and an 8, or digits adding to 8, which would be a pair not using 1, 4, and 6, would be 3 and 5. And the annoying thing about that is 3 has now appeared as a potential outie, so I can't claim it's not. Wow, I find this very confusing. The 28 clue is for the 1-9 sandwich, and that has 4 and 3 as outies. Then the 4 and the 6 are crusts for the 26 clue, and the outies add up to 9, including either 9 or 1. I mean, I don't know what side of the grid this happens. I don't know anything about it. I know that there's 4 and 3 as outies from one side. So I suppose these digits can't be 4 or 3. That's what I know. That's really a nothing thing to know, isn't it? Oh, this is so confusing. I'm sorry. I'm really going to have to get my head around this. There might be other places to begin. I don't know. But this is what I'm trying to focus on at the moment, is this top row. I mean, I thought I'd made quite good progress there. 1 and 9 are the crusts from the 28 side. Oh, and they must be separated by 5 digits that aren't 1, 9, 4, or 3. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. What about this greater than cell? Yeah, that must be from 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why do I know that? Because for the 28 sandwich, 1, 9 are the crusts, 4, 3 are the outies. They have to be divided amongst the sides because the crusts are 1 each side. So they're either using 3 cells that side and 1 this side, 2 and 2, or 1 and 3. They're never touching this cell. And that 1, 9, 4, and 3 are never in this cell. And in fact, the same is true for these. These are from 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 as well. I mean, that's worth knowing. This digit can't be a 2 because both of those would have to be lower, and they can't both be 1. In fact, neither can. That is 5, 6, 7, or 8. This can't be 8 because it has to be higher than that. I'll tell you what, this can't be 2 either, because in this column, 2 is going to be the definite sandwich for the 2 clue on its own, and it must be in between 2 other digits. So that's not 2. So now we have 5, 6, 7, or 8 here, 5, 6, or 7 here to be lower than that. And now we have to think about the 6, 4 sandwich. where the 4 is definitely quite outside. Now, in the 6-4 sandwich, the outies add up to 9. They could be a single 9, in which case 6 and 4 would either be here with 9 there, or here with 9 there. And then 6 couldn't be in any of these cells. Now, the alternative is that the outies include a 1 and an 8. Well, there are two alternatives, 1 and an 8, or 1, 2, 6. No, they can't include 6. That's nonsense. 1, 2, 6 is not possible. It was 1, 3, 5, sorry. 1, 3, 5 as the outies, 6 and 4 as the crusts, and therefore 2, 7, 8, 9 as the 26 filling. I know, but it actually gets important how that works in terms of where the 9 goes. Oh, maybe I haven't thought this through at all, or not completely. So the 28 sandwich is 1 and 9 as the crusts, with 4 and 3 as the outies. This digit couldn't be a 1, by the way, because that would definitely put 9 here, and that would flout the fortress cell, the maximum cell rules. However, that digit could be a 9 with a 1 here and a 3-4 pair here. I mean, I can't see reasons looking downwards why none of that works. It's pretty hard, this. It's pretty hard. So the 26 is using 6 and 4 as crusts and 9 of outies, which include either 9 or 1. Could they be 1, 3, 5? Those 1, 3, 5 outies would have to be in these cells, and you couldn't have 5 in these. I'm not sure. 1, 3, 5, then this could be a 6, couldn't it? No, this couldn't be a 6. Okay, I'm now going to rule that this can't be a 6. The only way this could approach being a 6. I don't think this can be a 6 either. That's quite interesting. Right, first of all, let's start here. This can't be a 6 because 6, 4, this is definitely green. Whichever version of 26 or 28 you're looking at, you only have a maximum of 3 outies. You can never get this to be a crust because you'd have 4 outies on one side or the other. So that's not a crust in any version. That is 5 or 7. This digit, if that was a 6, the 4 would be over here. And these would have to be 1, 3, 5. Now by Sudoku, that would make this digit a 7, sitting next to a 6 on the wrong side of it. Wow, can this be a 6? I'd quite like to rule that out now. If that happened, this would be the 4. This would be 1, 3, 5 over here. 6, 4, 1, 3, 5. You'd have 7, 8, 2 and 9. And for the 9, 1 version, the outies are 4 and 3. So you'd have 9 here, 4 here, 1 and 3. Actually, that would work. That's really annoying. This could easily be a 6. It's quite exciting even to limit this digit. Oh, okay, there's that 7 clue down there. Right, I've got to think about this central column, I think. The 2 is going to be sandwiched between either 1 and 9 or 6 and 4. Now, those digits can't be in the other sandwich because that would make it all add up to 12. So they must be outside the other sandwich. The other sandwich in this column, therefore, 2 is going to be between, let's say, 1 and 9. And then 6, 4 are going to be surrounding digits that sum to 7. So that sum of 7 cannot use any of those crusts, or 2. It can't use 1, 2, 4, or 6. It's got to be a single cell 7 in the sandwich somewhere in this column. And therefore this digit is a 5. And there's my first digit in the puzzle. I may never get another one. That's weird. So as we come down this column, somewhere there is a 3-cell sequence that is 2 of the crusts with a 2 in it. There's another 3-cell sequence that is 2 of the crusts with a 7 in it. And the other digits, which are 3 and 8, they can't be crusts and they're not sandwiches in this column. There are probably places they can't go, like that cell and that one. And I don't know, that's not going to help me. But it did get me this 5, so I'm not going to scoff at it. And this 5 means that 135 is not a possible outie sum. Now, there are still 2 possible outie sums. One is 1/8, and the other is a single 9. And these are the outies for the 26 sum, which uses 6 and 4. But this digit can't be 6 anymore, because the outies are a maximum of 2 digits. So I've done a tiny bit extra there. Actually, this digit is now 2, 7, or 8. And in this column, that must be an outie to all possible sandwiches. For the 24 sum, the outies add up to 11, and that must include this digit, whatever it is. I don't know how to use that information. I really don't. No, I've got nothing there. I'm not going to carry on thinking about that. I mean, it's quite interesting. It's an outie. I could colour it green. It's not a sandwich crust. That's not a sandwich crust either. In fact, these digits are in both sandwiches. But I don't think that's resolving the sandwiches for me. Well, okay, let's have a brief think about the possibility of 1/8 being the outies on the 6/4 sandwich. Because then these digits would be 7 and 2 here. And 1/8 would fall outside the 6/4 sandwich. And outside the 1/9 sandwich, we would have 4 and 3. Well, where would 3 go? Wouldn't 3 end up... Am I losing my mind here? How is 3 going to get in the 1/9 sandwich? Oh, no, it's not. 3 and 4 are the outies from the 1/9 sandwich. Now I've got this general question. Well, 3 is not now an outie in the 4/6 sandwich. That's interesting. So 3 can't be on the edge of the puzzle. It's got to be inside a 4 on one side or the other of the grid. So 4 is in one of those cells, 3 is inside it, And 6 is then as far away as it's possible to be. So if that's 4, 3, this is 6. If that's 4, 3, this is 6. So one of these is a 6. So one of these rows goes 4, 3, 6. 3 can't be an outie for the 4, 6 sandwich 2. Because we've worked out that the outies for the 4, 6 sandwich are either 1, 8 or a single 9. Well, am I then? No, then I'm not right about these possible 6s. These 4, 3s would be outies. That is going to make the next digits 1 and 9 either there or there. That's what's going to happen with 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 inside them. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, the 4 and 3 bit is right. The 6 bit wasn't. 6 won't be there or there. However, for the 4, 6 sandwich, which has either 1, 8 as outies or a single 9, the 6 is going to end up either here with a 9 outside, here with a 9 outside, or here with a 1, 8 outside. So let's just see what would happen on this side. For instance, 1, 8, 6, 7, 5, 2, 9, 3, 4. And that seems to work fine with this annoying, it's not an annoying fortress cell, but it's there, and I want to use it more. I'm struggling to use it more. I'm struggling. I mean, what am I, 25 minutes in and I haven't even understood the top row? Pathetic, isn't it? I'm just going to keep going this way because I don't know what else to do. I'm sorry. We know that 4 is in one of these corners. Now, in this column, could it be next to 6, giving the 0? Could it be surround? It couldn't be. Or is it this column where if we have 3 here, it would be an outie? Oh, there might be a problem here. If 3 was sitting here, being an outie of both sums, both sandwiches, for the 27 sum, where the outies add up to 5, remaining outies would have to be a single 5, because there'd be 2 digits. No, it's not right. It's not right, because, oh, it is right. Weirdly, it is right. Oh, goodness me. Okay, let me show you why 3 here doesn't work, I think, now. If that was 3, the 27 sum is going to have further outies of 5. Now, that can't be 1 and 4 because that includes crusts from both possibilities. It can't be 3 and 2 because we've already used 3. So it would have to be a single digit 5 as a further outie. But then what would the sandwich be for the 5 clue? If we were to put a 5 here or here as a further outie for one of these sandwiches, it would remain as an outie for the other sandwich, as would 3, and the other sandwich couldn't have 5 or 3 in it, and it couldn't be 1, 4, because that couldn't be a sandwich because it uses both crusts, and you couldn't make up the column, and that digit is therefore not 3, and therefore I'm going to put 3 over this side with 4 there. And I know quite a bit about this. So 4 is my pink sandwich, and its crust, its other friend crust 6 is in one of these cells. This is either a single 9 or a 1, 8 pair. So that ends up being 9, 1 or 8. This ends up being 1, 8 or 6. This I don't know so much about. The 1, 9 pair are here and here, with 4, 3 being their outies. So that is 1, 9, 1 or 9. This is definitely now 1 or 9. That can't be a 1 anymore. This is a 1, 9 pair, 5, 3, 4. This digit is from 2, 6, 7 or 8. But because of the fortress cell, it can't be an 8. So one of these is the crust. We could go 6, 8, 1. Or we go 6, 9. That's so strange. Right, and these two go red. That's my colour of the other crust. That's a green digit. Here we don't know quite where the 6 is. Now, in this column, we've got one. Oh, this is a blooming. Oh no, if it's 8. Oh, if it's 8, that's probably the outie needed for the 27 sandwich. And then you're going to get crusts here and here. Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to rule out 8. If it's 6 there, then it's the crust of one of the sandwiches. I don't know. I don't think that's actually, it helped me get here just because that digit weirdly couldn't be a 3. I don't think it's going to do any more. Isn't that odd? So hard. You have to think about each column. This is going to be a 90-minute roller coaster, just like the football later. That's my guess. I'm half an hour in. I've barely scored a goal. Right, that is a crust. And if it's in the 0 clue, this is the other crust, would be a 1, 9. Because of this fortress clue, that would be the 1, this would be the 9. And further down the column, we'd have 6 and 4 surrounding either a 7 or a 2, 5 pair. And that could go either way. I don't know. Okay, if the 1, 9 is the crust in the 7 sum, then we could go 1, 7, 9. That would be perfectly valid. I mean, there's a lot going on here, isn't there? I tell you what, the 0 clue can't be those 2 cells as 2 crusts because this box has already had one of each flavour of crust. So that can't be double red or double pink. It's not worth a lot, but it's something. It's a truth. This column is going to have a 2 as one sandwich and a 7 as the other. It'd be interesting if that sandwich was in this cell, because then we'd have a weird 2, 7, 8 triple. Don't see there's going to be any way of us proving that. This column has got another fortressy cell in it. How do we use that? I mean, is there another starting point apart from this quite high row? It just feels like there isn't to me. Maybe I'm being a bit pusillanimous, giving up too easily. Okay, let's look at this. And if it was a 7 clue that this red one is part of, could it be these 2 cells summing to 7? It can't be 3 of them because 1 would have to be part of them. So it could be 1 cell and that be a 7 and then this be a 9. Or could it be 2 cells? Could they be a 2, 5 or a 3, 4 pair with the higher digit here? I mean, I really... Then the 1 would be the crust this side because of the higher than issue. 3, 4 wouldn't work because of the 4, 6 pair. So it would have to be 2, 5. So if this is the crust for the 7 sum, that sum must either go 2, 5 crust or 7 crust. If, on the other hand, this is for the 0, then this is 1 or 9. So I think this is 1 or 9 or 2 or 7, which isn't going to take me further anywhere, but it is nonetheless a true bit of pencil marking. There's one of the crusts in this box is there. There's another one here. That's two of them, two of the four crusts in the box. If that was an 8, we'd need to get another crust into the 27. That would be a crust for the 27 clue. Maybe? Yes, it would. The 27 clue would, if that was an 8, this is a crust for the 27 clue, and that's the other one. What's quite interesting there is this digit would, if that 8 was, that would, yeah, the 27 clue crust would have to begin immediately. It would have to contain the other sandwich. And that's fine. I don't mind that at all. But if that was 8, it would finish off all these cells as well. It'd be really useful. Right, if that was 8, this digit couldn't be 6. So if it was from the 4-6 pair, it would be 4. If it was from the 1-9 pair, the other digit would be here, and that would have to be 1 down here. So this would be either 4 or 9 if that was 8. And even that I find quite interesting as a just dichotomy. If it was 4, this digit would be 6. And these would be 7, 8, and 9 in some order, which would actually be probably quite useful. I don't know how to get information out of this puzzle. Dual deli, gosh. I don't know which bit of the deli to be dining at. Frankly, I'm very pleased to have got 3 digits into it at all. I don't think those were easy. This is a definite outie for both of the sums. Are we on an overlap now down this column as well? No, because we could be on a container. If 1 and 9, for instance, were sandwiching 3, that would be 13, and then the whole lot could be sandwiched between 6 and 4. This must be an outie. If this digit wasn't 2, it would be 7 or 8. If that was part of the outies of the 24 sum, where the outies add up to 11, it would either have to go, the other outie, either here or here, would be a 4 or a 3. And if it was a 4, that would be in the other crust. Oh, it's so confusing. That's not telling me how to do it. It's just not. Right, let's try this again. If that was 1, if this is 7, this 7 sandwich in this column, that has to be 9, which works very nicely here. Now, this can't be 9. Oh, it can't be in the 0. If this was 9, it's not in the 0 clue thing, because that would have to be a 1, and that would also be a 1. So it would be part of the 23 clue. We'd have digits adding up to 23, and then a 1, probably either here or here. And outies of 12 in 2 or 3 cells. And 0 would just be satisfied by having 4 and 6, so I can't rule out 9 from this cell, much as I would like to. Oh. If this went 1, 7, 9, how do we make out the 7 sandwich between 6 and 4 with 2, 5? I think I've worked that out before. bother. I thought maybe for a second there was no way of doing it, but no, there is, and that doesn't yield anything therefore. If this is the 1-9 pair, though, that's 9 and that's 1 because of this. I mean, Bloxy, I don't know. Is this obvious? Is there an obvious step forward at this point? It feels like there just can't be. Okay, let's look at the bottom row where there's a 6 sandwich. Now, if 6 and 4 were the crusts on that, that sandwich could be 1, 5 or 1, 2, 3. That's all it could be. And then the 1 would be contributing as a crust to the 13 sandwich, but that would just be using the 6 or the 4 in the sandwich. And overlaps are quite easy to do. That's why we've still got uncertainty at the top here, even though we had other clues that we were able to use. Okay, if that was a 6, maybe that's where the problem comes. That would be quite interesting. If this was a 6, it would be a crust of 1 clue in this column. If it was the crust of the 27 clue, we'd have outies of 8 afterwards. Having used 6 and 4, we could have outies of 1, 2, 5, or 1, 7, or a single 8. We couldn't have the single 8 because that would go down here. If, however, this is part of the 5 clue, just go 6, 5, 4. Okay, the reason that wouldn't work is because the 27 clue with the 1, 9 would then be impossible with outies of 15. That's no good. The 6, 5, 4 won't work. Maybe there is a way to prove this isn't a 6. That would be so surprising. Outies of 8. And the 1, 9 in the column would be surrounding 5, which couldn't use either crust. 6 is too big. 4 would have to go with a 1. So the 1, 9 would then have to be subsumed into the 20. Oh, that's quite interesting. Well, it's interesting if 6, 4 is this crust for the 27 clue. I think it's less interesting if 1, 9 are the crusts for the 27 clue. No, it's not. Okay, there is something to think about in this column. And that thing is, I think this must be a container sandwich. One sandwich is contained inside the other. If this was an overlap sandwich, the outies on one side would be 8. If this was a container sandwich, the small clue, 5, would have to use one of the other digits. It would have to use one of the crust digits in the sandwich if it was an overlap clue. Just as in this top row, the pink crusts contain the red and the red crusts contain one of the pinks. So if this was an overlap clue in this column, the 5 clue would have to contain a crust, which would be 1 or 4. But it can't do that because it would then need the other crust being 1 or 4. It can't contain crusts from both types. So this is not an overlap clue, and it's not a successive sandwich clue. So it must be a fully contained clue in which there is a pair of crusts that add to 10 containing digits that sum to 5. That could well be a single 5. And those are entirely within crusts, the other type of crusts. And so, therefore, for the 27 clue, the outies add up to 8, and they don't include any crust type numbers. So they could be a single 8 here. There's no problem with that. That's absolutely viable. What they couldn't be, well, they could also be 6 and 2, annoyingly, and the 2 could go either there or there. No, they couldn't be. 6 can't, oh, no. 6 can't be an outie because it's a crust type digit. 6, 1, and 4 can't be in the outies. So to make up 8 without using 1, 4, or 6, we could do it with a 3, 5 pair. Just looking at digits. We couldn't do it with 3 digits because they would use 1. With 2 digits, 1, 7 would use 1. 2, 6 would use 6. 3, 5 wouldn't use a crusty digit. So 3, 5 could be the outies or a single 8. So if that digit is a 6, then this is a 3 and that's a 5. But that's impossible all over again because the sandwich sum of 5 would be unachievable without using 3 or 5 in it. Aha! Aha! So this is not a 6. It is not able to be a 6. This is an 8. And that finishes off the other green cells in the top row. 7, 2, 6. Just like that. And when I say just like that, I don't mean just like that at all. I mean in some blooming way. Right, these two, in this column, 8 is the total outie. These two are crusts of one hue or another. And I don't know which flavour of crust they are. If it's the 4, 6 pair, this digit is 4 and this one is 6, which is going to be quite significant down here given the fortress clue. If it's 1, 9, this one down the bottom has to be 1 and that one has to be 9. And now, within this, we're going to have the other crusts that aren't these orange ones, and they're going to be surrounding either a 5 or a 2, 3, somewhere within the clue. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, for this to be 9, that's 1. This is 9. Yeah, that doesn't work. For this to be 9 doesn't work. That would be 1. Where would its 9 be, given that its sandwich is either 7 or 1? It can't be in this box, and it can't be here because of the fortress cell. So that's not 9. That's a 4, and we can colour it pink. This is definitely now a 6, and we can colour it pink and say all the digits around it by the fortress rule, 7, 8, or 9. And somewhere in this row, we have 1 and 9 surrounding either 2, 3, or 5. That's not very helpful, but maybe this is. Nine, 2, 5, 1. Well, one of these digits is a 6. Where's 4 in this column? It's somewhere in those cells. Could 6 and 4 still contain 7? Yes, they could. Oh, what about this bottom row? This bottom row, that 6 is a crust. It is not a crust for the 6 sandwich because that digit would be inside it and is too big. So that 6 is a crust for the 13 sandwich. And that digit is 7, 8, or 9 contributing to the 13 sandwich. So 4 is somewhere along this row. And that 4 is going to be a crust in the 13 sandwich. The 6 sandwich is going to be with 1 and 9 as the crust, surrounding what? Not surrounding 1, 2, 3 or 1, 5, which involve 1, not surrounding 6, because this isn't a 1, 9 pair. So surrounding 4, 2. And that 4 is going to be in the surrounded area that 1 and 9 are surrounding, along with a 2. Now, this might have limited ways it can work. I don't think this can be a 9 in the 13 sum. Or could it? Could it go 9, 3, 1? No, it couldn't, because those would be the 9 would be a sandwich in the 6 clue. That just wouldn't work. Would it? 9, a 2, 4 pair, and then 1. No. No, that can't work. That's not a 9. That's a green digit. Ooh, this is weird. This is so weird. Oh, I tell you what, this is not a 9, by the way, here. Because that digit would be a 1, and they would be meant to be a crust for either 0 or 7. Not possible. So this is the 9 now, and that is a red digit in this column, and it's surrounding 5, which is either a 2, 3 pair or a single 5. 1 is in one of those cells and is a sort of red cell. And these are definite greens. From 2, 3, 5, 7, definitely. Right, and we've got this 7, 8 pair. They're both also greens. Now, how's this going to work? If that was an 8, then again, we could have, well, could we have a 5 and then a 4? No, because the 4, yes, the 4 has to be in the sandwich that adds up to 6. That's what we've worked out. Therefore, on the left side of it, somewhere in one of these cells, is a crust digit, which can't be 9 and must be 1. So the 1 is to the left of the 4, and what? Why am I saying it's to the left? Am I right? I think I'm right, but I don't know why. Because the 4 and the 6 must contain one of the crust digits, and it can't be 9. They must contain a 1, so that the 1 can in turn contain 4 and 2 before the 9. So in order as we go along this row, we're going to get a 1, a 4, and a 9. Now, that 1 can't go with the 8 and then still make up a 13 sum without somehow trying to use the 4 in it. So that's a 7. Then we have a sum of 6. That makes that digit an 8. We have a sum of 6 contributing to this 6-4 sandwich of 13, which is either 5-1 or 3-2-1. So 1 is in one of those cells. 4 comes directly after it, so that 4-2, well, maybe 4 doesn't come directly after it. It could now go 1-2-4, 7-3-1-2-4, except that would clash with this digit. So it can't do that. So 4 does come directly after 1, and then 2 comes directly after 4. And therefore, it's not 7-1-3-2. It must be 7-5-1. There's our 13 sandwich complete. That's the wrong color. But this is pink 4. And then, because 4 and 2 are in the next sandwich, that's where 2 is, and 1, 9 around them are the red crusts. And we get 3 in the corner, which is sort of hardly proving its position, but it's there. That's 3 in the corner. Amazing. Right. And I've done this row suddenly. And that was so hard. Right. In this column, I remember we were either going to have, well, we were going to have single cell sums. So this is either 2 or 7, and this is the other crust of 9. And then somewhere further up the column, we're having 4 and 6 surrounding the other digit from 2 and 7. This is a crust in this column. And now it's known that 2 is one of these outies. Oh, I don't know how this column works. I can't get my head around a whole new column of paired clues. It's hideous how hard this is. It really is. Extraordinary. I am persevering on 53 minutes. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, because it is remarkably clever. It's just really, really, really hard. Okay, this column, has that anything happened there? This is one of the crusts, obviously. And 6, which is another of the crusts, is somewhere here. I feel like that's going to be 1 and 9 and deal with the 0 crust completely. Feeling like it is not really worth anything, is it? No idea where the 4 and 6, 426 or 476 go in this column. No clues for the final 3 columns. That's just mean. You could have thrown in extra clues just to make it easier. Right, in this column, this time, yeah, well, no, I was going to say clearly this is a container column, like a container row, like column 2. But actually, that's not entirely obvious, because it could be a succession column with the pair that adds up to 10 and a 2 being all outies one way or the other. This digit is not an outie. Well, I think it's in a sandwich. Now, that's a really interesting call. That would be incredibly helpful. Why do I not think it's an outie? Yeah, okay. Why do I not think this is a green cell? Which I don't. If this was a green cell... Ah, no. Ah, no. This is going to make a huge difference. I can start filling in digits if this cell is red. Clearly this cell is not pink, because we've had all the pinks in this box. 4, by the way, just by Sudoku, is in one of those cells. That's quite interesting. That is a crust. Can it be a crust in the 23 sandwich? 23 always has to be at least, well, for a 1-9 Sudoku, for a 1-9 sandwich Sudoku, it has to be at least 3 cells. But for a 6-4, actually, even for a 6-4, it does, because the only possible makeup of 3 cells to get 23 is 9, 8, 6, and that includes examples of both crusts. So a 23 clue must be at least 4 sandwiched cells. The only way for this digit to be a 4, for one of these digits to be a 4 in the 23 clue, is for it to be this one with a 6 here, these digits adding up to 23, these adding up to 12, and I haven't even worked out where 1 and 9 would be in this row to generate the 0. I think they'd have to be between the 4 and the 6. They would. I mean, they'd very specifically have to be in these 2 cells. That's really interesting. So for this to be a 4, that would be a 6. This couldn't be the 1-9 pair, because that would be 3 reds. This couldn't be a 1 or a 9, because that would be 3 reds in this column. So if that's a 4, this is the 1-9 pair, that's a 6. You've got digits that add to 13, not using 9 or 6. They'd be 5, 8. This would be 2, 3, 7. That digit would be 1 or 9. It would therefore be 1. That would be 9. This would be 2, 3, 7. That would be a 5. I mean, it keeps working annoyingly. Now, the alternative that I was trying to avoid having to consider is that the 4 here is right next to a 6, furnishing the 0 clue. The 6 would be in one of these 3 cells. And they would be contained within the 1 and the 9. If that digit was a 1 or a 9, 10 and another 13. I can't tell whether the other 1 or 9 would be here in row 3, column 6, or here in row 3, column 7. I think it would have to be one or the other. I don't know. What I do know is this digit is 3, 6, or 8, because it can't be 7, 5, 2, 9, 1, or 4. Now, that doesn't make it, it could be a sandwich, a crust 6, couldn't it? Going 6, 2 or 7, 4, this would be a 3, 8 pair. If it wasn't, no, I don't know. This is craziness, isn't it? What can you do? What can you do? You can use this 24 column, where that 4 is definitely a crust, and 6 can't be here or here. We've got to add up to either 13 or 24 before we hit a 6. If it was 13 in 2 cells, that would be a 6, 7 pair. Oh no, it wouldn't. 6, 7 wouldn't work. 4, 9 wouldn't work. 5, 8 wouldn't work. So if that's doing the 13 clue, then those are 3 digits adding to 13, and that's a 6. And the 3 digits that add to 13 and don't include a 2 would have to include a 1. They also don't include a 4. They'd have to include a 1 and a pair that adds to 12, which couldn't be 3, 9, because the 1 and the 9 would be too close together for the 24 clue. So there'd be 1, 5, 7, and that doesn't work either, because these 2 digits would both have to be from 1, 5, 7. That would be too many. So this 4 cannot be yielding the 13 clue, because you can't do it in either 2 cells there or 3 cells here. That is really surprising. So the 4 is yielding the 24 clue. And that is going to require at least 4, well, is it? Could be 9, 8, 7 with a 6 there. The 4 is doing the 24 clue. 24 plus 10 is 34. That leaves 11 of outies. And that includes this 2. And then a sum of 9 in 2 or 3 cells, or 1, 2 or 3 cells, that doesn't include 2, 4 or 6. To include an even digit, it would be 1, 8. To have only 1 digit, it would be a 9. To have 3 odd digits, it would be 1, 3, 5. They're all blooming possible. However, we also have to achieve the 13 clue in this column using a 1 and obviously a 9. And that 1 and 9, they can't be in this box. So they're confined here. So the 13 has to be I think the 6 has to be in the 13 sum. Because if you put 1, 9 there, 6 is in it. If you put them there, it's in it. And if you put them here and here, it's in it. So the 13 sum is 6 and something else adding up to 7. But you can't use 6, 2 or 4 again. So it's not 2 digits or 3 digits adding up to 7. It is 6, 7 being contained in 1, 9. So one of those is a 7. 1, 9 are somewhere around it. There's a sequence of either 1679 or 1769 running up or down. That digit can't be a 7 in that box. 1679. And now going back to the 24 clue, we need outies, but apart from the 6 and the 4. So the 1 or the 9 is included in the outies, and that hasn't really changed whether it's 1, 8, 1, 3, 5 or a single 9. Oh, that's so weird. I know so much now about this column and in no way how to use it. I do know one way. I've got a 7 there and a 7 in one of those cells. This digit's a 7. And therefore the 2 in this column is now in one of those 2 digits. I know it's not cells. I know it's not here because it's got to be surrounded by the 6 and the 4. So one of these digits is 6 and one of them is 4. And that's going to use up the 2 6s for columns 6 and 5. And there must be a 6 down here. And there's also a 2 in those cells by Sudoku. So this is now a 3-8 pair. And they are contributing to the 24 sum. That's 11. We need another 13, including either a 1 or a 9. I suspect I'm not going to figure out how that works yet, frustratingly. But wow, it feels like enormous progress again. Okay, there's a 2 in one of these cells, and it's surrounded by 6, 4. That can't be the 2, so this can't be a 6 anymore. That is now green. And I know it doesn't make any difference, but it makes a difference to me. Could this be 4, 2, 6 here, with that being 3 or 8? Then this would have to be a 6. This would be a 7. These would be where 1, 9 were. And that would be the outie, which would be a 9, which is what I rather think is going to happen. Wow. I mean, I am looking around at the other clues and not really getting anything out of them. So please bear with me. This is very hard. Oh, I know. We know there's a 4 in one of those cells. I was going to say that can't be a 6 because 4 there wouldn't let the right sandwich exist. But 4 here and 6 here would. That would be fine. Oh, I mean, goodness me. Oh, there is a 5 in one of these cells by Sudoku. Doesn't make this a 5, 6, 7 triple because 6 could be hanging out up here. If 6 isn't hanging out up there, this is a 6, 7 pair. This is 1, 9. Oh, that would have to be a 5. That's no good. We've had a 5. Yeah, that's no good. This can't be a 6, 7 pair being surrounded by 1, 9. So the 6 has to get out of that box, has to go there, next to a 7 here. Yes, they have to get surrounded by 1, 9 in some order. This digit becomes a 3, doesn't it? And no, what is it? That's the 5 in the column. Wow, there we go. Okay, in fact, all those are green. And now we've got the 13 sum done between 1, 9. Oh, yes, look, we can just add up what goes for the 6. This is going to be a 1, isn't it? Because then we've got the 2, 9 outies up there. Now, 1 there is eliminating 1 from this cell and definitely putting it in here. And that means this is a 5 to make the sandwich we needed in column 2. And everything else in column 2 is 2, 3, or 7. That digit can't be 7. Right. Progress. Now, in this column, we still don't know. Oh, that 6 is interesting. For that 6 to be in the 23 sum is utterly impossible. In the 23 crust is utterly impossible because we know 4 is in one of those by Sudoku. So 6 has to be in a 0. And that gives us that as a 4, definite. That gives us 2 and 6 in this box. Green those, pink the 6. And that is this. That's the 460 sum. That must be within the 23 sum now in this row. That 1 and 9 are holding. There's a 6 in one of these 3 cells. Thrilling news. 752946. These are from 138. That 2 is looking at this cell. That's good. 9 is looking at that cell. This can never be. I think I could have known that was never 9 from the fortress. Just poor pencil marking. Right. We've got quite a lot done now. Quite a lot. Right, that's 6. The only way that could be helping be a crust for the 24 is if the 24 was made up of 7, 8, 9 and then the 4. So it would have to be this side. 9, 8, 7 and a pink 4 here. And these would be 2, 3, 5. That's possible. Slightly annoyingly, that is possible. For the 1 to be a crust for the 24, where's the 9 going to go? It can't go here. We wouldn't enclose enough. It's going to have to go here. So this digit is a crust on the 24. It's either 9 or 4. That's weird. If it's 9, the 24 is made up of these 4 cells. And they can't use 1 or 9. So they would be 6 and a group adding up to 18. That couldn't be a 2 because we're not allowed a 7 in either of these cells. And they would have to be 7, 9. So that would have to be a 7. This is always a 7, whether we're looking at the pink or the red as the crusts here. So that's a 7 and that's a 2. And now this digit isn't a 2. We're gradually narrowing that one down. If that was a 7, this digit's a 9, which is kind of what it would be happening anyway. This is already 3, 5, 7, or 9. It can't be 3 because both of those would have to be 1. So I'm ruling that out. I mean, it's not a huge advance. For that to be 7, this would be 9. And again, that's so likely. It keeps on being possible. I think it's now likely, but I haven't proved it. Okay, let's go back here. 13, if the red was the thing, these two would add up to 11 without using 9, 7 or 6. They would be 8, 3, and we would know the order, that and that. Alternatively, if we're using the pink crusts, these are 8, 9, and then we don't know the order. But those are the only digits they can be. So 2 and 5 in this row. 2 is left to be in one of these cells. 5 is left to be in one of these. I was going to colour these all green. It's not really appropriate. One of them might be red or pink, but just not used in this row in a sum. So fair enough. But 2 and 5 are out there. 5, 5, one of these two cells is a 5. 2, 2, one of these two is a 2. No, I was going to colour these. There's no point, but also there's no gain. I've got a 12 sum in this row. Am I really meant to start thinking about these loose rows? No, I'm not. I'm meant to start thinking about this one. So if that was a 9, we'd have to enclose 23 before the 1 and then have 12 left over, which here couldn't be 8, 4 or 3, 9. If that was a 9, this has to go 7, 5 out here. If it's not a 9, then it's part of the outies, which add up to 12. If that was 7 and 2, there'd be another outie of 3, which couldn't be here because of that. It would have to be here. If it was 5, 2, then there'd be more outies valued at 5. And that is not possible. 1, 4 would use a 1. 2, 3 would use a 2. 5, 2 would use a 5. This can't be a 5 because of the outie situation in row 3. This is now a 1, 7, 9 triple, and this is a 3, 5 pair. That's really weird. There's a 1 in one of these cells. These are from 2, 3, 4. Okay, if that was a 7, this now is definitely an outie because of its greenness. It has to be a 3. If that was a 7, this would have to go 7, 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, a 5, 8 pair, and 9. If it's a 9, then we're going 1, 7, 5 here. And it's either 1, 7, 5 here or a 5, 8 pair followed by 9. It's the 5-8 pair followed by 9, 4, 6, 2, 7, 3. That's a 1. This is 3, 1 in that case. But if it's the 1, 7, 5 pair, this is 3, 8. So this is always a 3. That's weird. Let me just check that out again. So one of the possibilities is 9 there and 1 here, with 7, 5 as the outies, and then these go 3, 8. The other possibility is 7, 2, 3. So this is always a 3. That's not. And this is now a 5. It doesn't add to the wisdom of man. This is in a cell. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why have I written 9 as a possibility here? It's in a cell that is meant to be smaller than surrounding cells. That's a 5. So this is the 9. This is the 1. That's 7, 5 as outies. And that's an 8. There we go. There we go. We are on the march. Those are red. This is a 1. This is 7 and green. And we've done the 7 sum in this column. Now all we know is that 6 and 4 have to be next to each other in the column. I don't know how to deal with that. Don't ask me crazy hard questions. That's a 1. That's a 9. 7 and 5 are green. 5 has to be lapped by bigger digits. This one is 6 or 8. This is 6, 8 or 9. Let's start with that. These are a 2, 6, 8 triple. In this row, that one can't be 2, so there's only one place. For 2, it's there. 2 is green. 6 will be pink if I get there, if I need it for anything. Right. That's been done. That's an 8. This can't be 8 now. That's maybe interesting for this row, which either had 9, 8, 4, if we were looking at the pink sandwich. And if we're looking at the red sandwich, it's 6, 3, 8, 7. So this is always 8. Okay, good. That's really, oh, that look, 9 is looking at that digit, so it's 4. Bingo. So we are in pink, and this is 9, 8, 7. That is our sandwich in this row. These remaining digits are 2, 3, 5, and look, I can fill them in. Exciting times. Ridgemount High. Now, we've got a 5 there by Sudoku. 3s and 2s are done in the columns. We need a 9 in one of those two places. Not in, oh, I haven't looked at this row and its clue at all. That's quite, oh, 4 has to be next to 6 in one of those places. By Sudoku, this has become a 2, 3 pair, and this is now a known pair of 1, 4. These are 2 and 9, we can fill them in. These are 5 and 6, we can fill them in. That's what we want. And the first column, we've got all the clues fulfilled. This can't be 9 anymore. So this is now a 6, 8 pair. Everything else in this column is 1, 7, 9, and that lets me fill them in. 1 and 9, I'm going to colour red just for consistency. These digits are 4, 6, 8 in some order. In this row, we need a 3 and a 4 and a 7. In this box, we need a 4. Then we need 6 or 8 there and a 1 here. And Sudoku to the rescue. Always a clarion call. 4s, 9 is red. 2, 3, and 7 are all green digits. Now, we've still got this clue left, and that's going to be vital. Is it doing the red sum? 7, 11, 13, that would have to be a 5. No, it's not. It's definitely doing a pink sum. So this can't be 6. I'm hopeful that if I put 6 here, the sum in between the pinks is going to be 18. It is just what we wanted. So that solves the 6, 8 deadly pattern that was just 4. This digit's a 4. Now we've just got 2 rows left to do, and we've got some Sudoku we can do in them, of all things. Oh no, now that the Sudoku has run out. So there's got to be a clue somewhere to resolve the last bits. 2, 3, 6, 8. Hideous deadly pattern. Oh, there's a 12 clue in this row. Right, thank goodness for that. Well, it can't be in between the reds. So that's got to be pink. And this has to be a 3 to make the sum add up. Now I think we can finish off. Do the colours first, then the digits. 8, 6, 8, 2, 3, 2. I said 90 minutes. Looks like this one's over just short of 80. Whoa, that's a very, very clever puzzle, but it's very, very hard, and I don't think there's shortcuts there. I think you have to consider everything I did consider. Maybe you could do it all a bit quicker, but it's a very hard puzzle, and it's fantastic to have got through it. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back with you tomorrow, whether England is still in the World Cup or not. Well, they will be, because there'll be a third place match even if they lose. I'll see you then. Bye for now.